Jet Set, Groovy. Jet Set Radio.
Good evening, Salisbury and elsewhere.
We are back.
Yes, we are. Welcome back to week 3. This is, I think,
dang.
of What You Playing on WXSU LP Salisbury.
I think we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited, and
we got some cool OSTs.
Yeah, we got our music. What you're listening to is something from Jet Set Radio, right?
Sort of.
So that's the game you were talking about last week.
Yeah.
I hope the
Jet Set Classic.
I hope the sound...
Which is actually from a tribute album that's by a guy. It's very inspired by Jet Set, but it's basically Jet Set music, so I put it in.
Yeah, it sucks that we can't hear it while we're talking, but you know, hey, it's okay.
I've been listening to it all the time.
Coming up, actually, this next one is probably one of my favorite
Ruins?
tracks from Undertale. Yeah.
Really?
But anyway, shall we get into it?
I think so. I guess talk about next week. We do probably have a guest.
Yes. So
Pascal.
Next week, you know more about him than me.
So Pascal, Potato Boss. If anyone's ever heard of the Pokemon Unbound ROM hack, super cool ROM hack, super polished. It's not one of those ROM hacks that's broken. It's literally the same quality as the games, and the soundtrack is no exception. I mean, it's on par with those banger Pokemon tracks, and it's just a really cool game. I've recently played through it. I got a couple of buddies played through it, so we'll have him on here. He's given us permission to use some of his music as well. And hear about being the sound director of a game, how he makes the music for the GBA, and super excited. It's super cool. I could get in touch with him. So, yeah, look forward to that.
Okay, well, so yeah, next week we'll have him talk about that, and we'll have to figure something out how we're going to do that. Because
probably Discord call him.
A Discord call or something like that. We'll figure it out.
He's actually located in Europe, believe it or not.
Really? Yeah,
cool,
so it's not like he can just come over and sit in the studio with us.
No, yeah.
But it'll be really great to hear from him.
Super cool, yeah, super cool.
So anyway, I did let you go. I did let you go first last week, so if you don't mind, I'd like to go first about what I'm playing. Yes, I did. I did kind of give you a sneak peek. But recently, I have been playing a lot, and I mean more than I probably should be, of Persona 5. It's a game that I have wanted to play ever since it came out, and I heard all the reviews. But the problem is it's only on PlayStation, right? So I don't have a PlayStation 4, so I was never able to do it. But I'm very fortunate for my roommate, who was able to, well, not able to, but he allowed me to buy the game on his PlayStation so I could play it. And it was on sale this week for $8, so you really can't beat that. But for those who don't know, so Persona 5 is, well, I want to say the 5th entry in the Persona series, but it probably isn't because it's a Japanese game, so it's probably more complicated than that. Because Persona is like a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series. It's really complicated. There's a lot of games in that. But it's like half, I guess, so the main core game is basically split into 2 sections of gameplay. It's half I guess, Pokemon mixed with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I heard it's a lot similar to Mother as well.
So it is turn-based like those games. So it's a turn-based, there's turn-based combat, and you literally use these, people refer to them as Pokemon because they kind of are, because you're collecting a bunch of them, and they all have different moves.
Sorry, I hate to cut you off, but it is not letting me cue this music.
Oh no, what's going on?
I'm picking it up, I'm dragging it in, and
Huh. Well, we'll have to maybe try a different one. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're still new to this, guys. We're still figuring out the systems and stuff.
I tried it with another song, and it's not.
Weird. I don't know. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Whatever.
But anyway, yeah. So you basically are playing, when you're playing Persona 5, you play as, well, actually you can pick his name, but his code name is Joker. Really cool looking dude.
Yeah.
And
in Smash.
Yeah, he is in Smash. They put him in. But you're basically going through these, alternate dimensions that are supposed to be, the representations of, evil people and their distorted desires or something. Okay. And you're basically going through these worlds trying to, get them to change their ways and stop being comically evil. Because honestly, a lot of games like to fiddle with the morality of like, oh, is what I'm doing right?
Undertale.
Yeah, right. But this game, you know, it tries to do that, I think, where it's like, oh, are we really like, you know, is this really what we're supposed to be doing? You know, should we be going into the psyche of humans and changing them without them being able to do anything about it? But like all the people you do it to are like hilariously evil and terrible. Right. So you're really, and most of them don't really give you a choice because there's always some like reason that if you don't do it, like one of the main characters is gonna have a bad time. But it's 50% going through those worlds and fighting with the Pokemon / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stands.
Okay.
And just fighting things, and it's really fun because I'm not a big fan of turn-based combat in a lot of games.
Right.
The only game that I played that I enjoyed the combat was Undertale. That was turn-based.
Yeah, and they even did their own spin on it. So
yeah, it
like
almost wasn't really like
turn-based because you have opportunity to avoid every attack.
Yeah, I mean,
which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the best systems that it's ever done. But like most other turn-based games I've played, where it's like press button to attack, you attack.
It's like no matter what, you're gonna take damage.
You do 10 damage. Now the other guy attacks and does 50 million damage to you. So, you know, it's really, it's kind of boring sometimes. But Persona does it really cool because you have, you know, your basic attack, you have a ranged weapon, you have your Persona, which has a bunch of different moves, and you have all these different elementals. So that's why it's kind of like Pokemon, because every enemy and yourself and your allies are strong and weak in certain elements, so you can, you know, strategize that way or whatever. So that's cool. But the other half, this is just one half of the gameplay. The other half is like, kind of like, I guess they call it a social simulator, where like you're basically, because your main character is like just some high school kid, and like the other half of him's like, oh, I gotta study for exams, or I gotta like,
and see, kind of like how Spider-Man has that whole
like side story of like being
like
a normal person.
Kid, he's got a job, and he's also trying to be a hero, and
yeah. So like, honestly, what's funny is whenever you hear people talk about Persona and like the social simulator part of it, you think, oh, that's gotta be boring. Who wants to just like play a game where all you do is have a part-time job and like hang out with friends and like stuff like that? Really? But it's actually important to the other half of the game, because by doing all those things, you raise your stats.
Right.
And you can forge relationships with different people.
Almost like Stardew in a way.
Yeah, kind of, actually. And so you forge your relationship with these people, and by doing that, it makes you stronger. And what's so... really, as if the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure connections couldn't get any more obvious.
Right.
All the personas and characters are representative of like the tarot cards or whatever. You know, like the Star, the Chariot, the Fool, and like all those other tarot cards. I can't list them all off the top of my head.
From tarot cards from JoJo.
No, but they use them in JoJo's as well. So tarot cards are just a thing that people use for like fortune.
Great things about the anime and the manga for that.
Yes, it is good, but so in JoJo's, this is a tangent. This is not really appropriate for our show, but I'm just gonna say it because it's on topic. In part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, all the abilities are based off of tarot. Well, half the abilities are based off of tarot cards. So when I played Persona 5, I was like, wow, this is really just like part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I love it because I really like JoJo's. It's kind of neat to play a game that's like
very inspired by it.
Well, what's funny is I did some research on that, and they haven't, the company Atlas who makes the games hasn't like gone on record specifically like, yes, we were inspired by but it's pretty clear that there are some inspirations, but they do it in a very, you know, not rip-offy kind of way. It's actually really fun.
A new take.
But honestly, I put probably about maybe 18 hours in it over the past week.
Wow, okay.
And I'm only past the first of I don't know how many like antagonists there are.
That's a meaty game.
Yeah, apparently the average time that it takes to complete a playthrough of Persona 5 is like 120 hours.
Damn.
And I got that for like...
That's crazy. That's like Metal Gear Solid 5, which is such a long game.
What happened? Yeah, I mean, it's a really good, I really enjoy it. It's a really fun game. I'm glad that I've gotten the chance to play it. You know, it really...
Yeah, for sure.
It really is so much... It very much lives up to, what I was expecting from it. And I'm excited to play more of it, and I probably will play a lot more of it.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear more about it. I mean, my friend John is also a big fan of Hades, likes Persona 5. I've heard it from a lot of people. I mean, it's definitely one I gotta check out.
You have a PlayStation, right?
I do. A PlayStation 4.
Honestly, if it's on sale, I can't recommend it more. It's a good experience. But anyway, what about you? What did you bring to talk about today?
What can I talk about?
The hard question is what can you talk about. The easy question is what can't you talk about.
Right. So, I mean, Pokemon Unbound, I guess I'll see for next week when we have Pascal in to give us
we
some more
should
insight on
probably
that.
we can talk about that next week.
I mean, I like a lot of games. I already talked about Halo.
You talked about the Arkham
Batman
games.
Arkham, which I'm trying to cue that song, but it went out.
Oh, it won't let you.
I'll talk about Metroid since Metroid Dread's
Yes,
coming out.
that's right.
And
I think
game looks awesome.
I think I have some news about Metroid Dread later that I picked up.
I'll talk about, I guess, my two favorite. I've played Super Metroid or most of it. Pretty cool game, but I mean, I've mentioned them on the show before, but Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission.
There's so many of them.
And I guess I'll throw in the new Castlevania Area of Sorrow I'm playing as well. That's
I've
all very similar.
I've never played Castlevania ever. I've never played any of them.
I've tried a few of them, and honestly, Area of Sorrow is the one I've enjoyed the most so far. But oh man, I mean, those Metroid games, it's a classic. You know, you start out the stories and the graphics on the Game Boy Advance look fantastic.
Honestly, even the NES ones look really good as well.
The NES ones look good for the time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, honestly, the Castlevania games, with the exception of like the newest one, I think it is.
Look good.
They look good, but specifically the box art for all of them look so incredible, and the soundtracks for all of them are really good.
Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night especially has
for a while.
Yeah, honestly, if we can get that in the system, so we could play that on the radio.
I looked it up, and unfortunately, Konami Music is not licensed.
Oh, that's not even surprising, really. Konami is very, very strict about their.
I mean,
their stuff.
I'm telling you, man, most of the stuff I looked up, we were not able to get many in.
That's unfortunate.
But hopefully we have Pascal helping us out with some of that.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have like a fresh set.
I should be able to get a couple Legend of Zelda tracks in because they're technically licensed, but it's funky how it is. I'm gonna have to talk to Connor about that.
Yeah, see, this is the hardest thing about running a radio show.
The behind the scenes
of how many rules we have to follow as to not, cause issues for everyone.
The system isn't even.
Yeah, I don't know
working.
We'll have to talk to our music manager about why it won't let us.
It's not.
Oh, there we go. That worked. I think you have to hover over top of it. Have you been doing it in between?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe I was doing it incorrectly.
That's okay. Maybe we won't have to talk to our music manager about it.
Anyway, Metroid.
Yeah, Metroid.
Awesome.
Yes. Tell me more. Tell everyone
Metroid
more.
Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission. I mean, I've been recommending these games to my friends for a while, but I mean, most people are. I mean, my friend's awesome, but they're not really into. I mean, they'll play the new Maddens and stuff, but no one's really into gaming.
Oh my god! I honestly, you've just reminded me that sometime, not today, because I'll take up the whole show. I do want to do a little rant about Madden and my history with it and how I feel about it. But anyway, so what platforms can you play Metroid on? Is it Nintendo stuff?
It's. Believe it or not, the only way to really even play them right now is using a Game Boy Advance emulator and buying the cartridge on your own before getting the ROM.
Okay, so you have to buy it.
Technically.
And then what?
Just run it on the Game Boy Advance emulator.
That's insane. Honestly, really.
Dude,
I know we talked about this before, but geez.
You open a program.
Let us play old games, companies, please. We want to buy your games.
We could spend a whole episode just complaining about that.
Because like realistically, a lot of people complain, "Oh, emulation's just piracy." I mean, it can be if
it's a good way to preserve games. I mean,
well, but here's the thing: is we wouldn't have to use emulators if companies would just re-release their games on the modern consoles.
I should not have to pull out a Game Boy Advance every time I want to play.
Or buy one on eBay for
one of my
way
favorite
too
titles.
Much. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Metroid is a game series that I want to play, and honestly, I really respect Metroid and Castlevania for that matter for essentially spawning a whole genre of games. Like I talked about how nowadays people are saying, "Oh, this game is like Dark Souls." That's what people are saying all the time.
Like Dark Souls.
And honestly, you could probe through just about every single journalist outlet, IGN, Kotaku, a review of some new game that comes out, and they'll be like, "This is just like Dark Souls." And sometimes they're right, and then sometimes they're stretching it a little bit. But Castlevania and Metroid, literally, there are games now that people call Metroidvanias.
Oh, right.
Like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a game I want to play recently, but they go, "Oh, it's a Metroidvania." I started it, and then I got really confused.
Hard.
It's a really confusing game because there's almost no hand-holding at all. You are just sitting there, and it doesn't tell you where to go. You just go. Another one that I played that was a Metroidvania was Ori and the
Will-O-Wisp.
Will-O-Wisp. I didn't play the second one. I started playing the first one. And it looks really good, and I was enjoying it so far, but honestly, the few Metroidvanias I've played have really lost my interest over the course of, like, a few hours. I just can't stick with them.
I started this one, it was called A Robot Named Fight.
I've heard of it.
Which, actually, dude, I got on sale for $2, and it's extremely hard, extremely brutal game, but I played it for a good 4 or 5 hours, probably collectively, and it's literally Metroid with... It's basically Metroid, but roguelike.
Okay.
Super fun. Like, super cool game. I think it was all made by one guy. And
That's impressive.
It was really great. I
so
mean,
it's an indie... Well, I mean, yeah.
It's an indie game. And I didn't have really feel like... I mean, it's brutal. Like, it's brutal. But if you're into that sort of hard games and you like Metroidvanias...
I really like
A Robot
hard
Named
games.
Fight is a great game for you. I got it.
Yeah, you got some Cuphead on. Cuphead's another game that's also really, really hard.
I beat it. I liked it a lot.
You beat it? I need to beat it.
I wanted my roommate to come on to talk about Cuphead sometime.
Yeah, we really need to, because it really is a masterpiece.
I totally agree. I was glad we were able to get some of that in there. But anyway, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission. I mean, I started replaying Metroid Fusion lately, but unfortunately I lost the data because I started on my work computer. And then I transferred it over, but the transfer was still not working. But anyway, it's...
And this comes just 1 week after we were talking about how useful PC is for having the ability to cloud save and stuff.
I know.
But to be fair, you're emulating it, so it's not really the same
It's a bit of a different story, but... I actually could do RetroArch on Steam that saves that.
Huh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dude, the Steam Deck gonna be big for that.
Steam Deck. I saw an article today that said that if you try to tamper with your Steam Deck, it can like kill you or something.
Yeah,
like,
it's like it can be like you could break it.
Well, you could break it.
I watched a video about it, the teardown video. They said they only recommend doing it if you're professional.
Yeah, don't tinker with things that you're not prepared to. Honestly, electronics is. I've taken several classes on it, and I know a lot of people do crazy tinkering. Well, mainly it's people.
I'm not the big hardware guy.
Mainly it's people to do that stuff to like JTAG their Xboxes or PlayStations.
JTAG.
It's like
yeah.
so they can basically get around the anti-cheat, so they can aim hack and wall hack in games, which makes me very sad. And then they sell them.
That's a good topic to talk about.
Yeah, cheating, especially since it's getting even worse now. Do we want to talk? We can talk about it right now.
I want to talk about that. I'll talk about it. It kind of just makes me mad.
Oh, it makes everyone mad. But actually, just recently was the Battlefield 2042 beta. I played it, and I mean, I have some gripes with it, and I can maybe talk about it a bit later. But since we're talking about cheating, and Battlefield 2042 specifically has a really big cheater problem, especially on PC.
Really?
I didn't save the article, which I probably would have covered in the news section, but since we're talking about it now, so apparently there is like a warning going out that so Battlefield 2042 hasn't even come out yet. It literally just had its beta.
Just the beta.
It comes out in December, I think, or November, somewhere around there, later this year. And their hackers have already cracked the anti-cheat on it. It's not even out yet. People were cheating during the beta. Actually, same with Call of Duty Vanguard. I played that beta, and I ran into an aimbotter and a wall hacker. So he was literally running around, just headshotting people left and right. Just so you would look at the kill feed, just be filled with this guy's name because he's just aimbotting us all. And honestly, it's becoming more of a problem because previously cheating was limited essentially only to PC because, like I said, you had to be an expert with the console hardware to do it.
Like a modded controller.
Well, yeah, but that's not really the same thing because all modded controllers really do is like give you extra so you can make like macros so you can.
Something about like zooming in and zooming out.
And being able to fire like in first-person shooter games, firing semi-auto guns with no like trigger delay.
Yeah.
You know, so that's annoying, but it's not game breaking. It's not like
it's even possible because I thought the delay would be like built into the game.
Well, it is, but the modded controller basically gets around it somehow. I don't know how they do it. There's something like I don't know how it works.
Like
I'm not too versed.
What's
on
the
it.
one anti-cheat? I was talking about like Proton. It's like built into Steam.
I don't know. VAC? Are you talking about VAC? For Steam?
Sure.
I don't know, but like yeah, it's so like I was saying. Cheating used to be only a PC problem, like it would happen on like CS:GO games with really bad anti-cheat, and especially free-to-play games like CS:GO saw a hike in Counter-Strike Global Offensive for anyone who doesn't know, as if once it went because it went free-to-play,
right?
So people could just make a new account and then download it and just keep cheating, and even if they get caught, but they've been doing some weird like two-factor stuff to try to stop it. But it used to be only a PC problem because, you know, on hardware, it's hard to modify an Xbox to get around anti-cheats if you don't know what you're doing. So, you know, you had people who would, what they call J-tagging, you know, basically getting around the anti-cheat, and then they would sell them online so you could go and pay, what, $350, $400 for a J-tagged Xbox or PlayStation so you could basically cheat on games and stuff. But now it's becoming more of a console problem because now crossplay has become a big thing, and this is
which is good.
But it's a double-edged sword because crossplay is awesome. I love being able to play with my friends on PC.
I mean,
when
I
I'm on
remember
console.
back, and just to build off that, I remember back. It's funny. I remember exactly where I was in like a restaurant. I must have been like 8 or 9, been like, wow. It'd be so cool if you could play with the same. And now it's like happening from more and more games. And PlayStation was really the only one holding back.
Yeah,
for
years it was
and then
Sony.
They finally broke.
It was Sony that was saying we don't want to do PlayStation and Xbox crossplay.
It really put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I agree, but you know, at least now it's slightly better. But that's the double-edged sword fact is that now if somebody's cheating on PC and you're playing a crossplay game. You could be on console running into more cheaters than you used to be able to. So, like, especially games like Call of Duty Warzone. You cannot... Fortnite.
Well, they had it bad.
So, I think it's worse for Warzone, though, because in that game, you cannot opt out of crossplay on console. You have no choice. You have to play crossplay.
Especially when you're on console and you're getting wrecked by
players.
PC
you're getting aimbotted and wall hacked and like dropped at like 10,000 feet for playing a game, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's all down to Activision. And actually, I saw a really scary video, and so basically. Now cheaters are working on basically AI that you can install onto your computer, and it's like machine learning or whatever, and it can detect enemies, and it basically it basically is like free aim assist or you know, close like that. So you could just be sitting there, and if an enemy walks by your screen, the AI will see that and be able to pick it out and make a movement, like input on your mouse or controller to aim at them or something like that.
Right.
And because it's an external thing, it is undetectable by every single modern anti-cheat that is offered in every single game.
I mean, I'm sure it'll beat it. You know, it's the same way, not to go on a computer rant about how just with hacking and cybersecurity, where it's like, oh, you find a new way to hack this thing, and then the cybersecurity people who discovered are like, okay, cool.
And they'll figure it out.
Now we're going to patch that.
I hope so.
And then the hackers are like, all right, well, now we got to find out something new. And then
it's an endless cycle.
It just keeps getting harder and harder for each side to fight back. And
you know, but the thing is I love online games. I really do. I love playing, you know.
I think it's where I'm a little bit of the opposite. I mean, I played.
Yeah, I know you're more of a single player guy.
I do play some online stuff though. Like the Halos I'm playing.
You know, Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield.
Call of Duty Zombies. I play that a lot.
Yeah, but you know, it's just really annoying, especially games that are super competitive. You know, League of Legends.
I mean, it ruins
Rainbow Six Siege.
It ruins the game. I think it ruins the game for the whole lobby.
Yeah.
Except the person who has a cheat, which I mean, I guess if they're a cheater like that, they don't care. But like for me, like it would just be no fun, and I would just feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
I'm just like wrecking everyone the whole time. It's just not even fair.
But it also comes down to not just, you know, feeling superior or getting a lot of kills, but sometimes it's people cheat for like progression's sake. So I play a game. Yeah. Occasionally I play a game called Escape from Tarkov. You heard about that game?
Yeah, I actually have.
So basically, to anyone who doesn't know, in Escape from Tarkov, you have like your hideout, and you know, it's a first-person shooter, so you have a hideout and all your gear, so your armor, so you know, you have your armor, your guns, your ammo,
right,
all that stuff, your helmets, and you basically choose what you want to take into what's called a raid, which is almost like kind of a battle royale sort of thing. So a bunch of people load into this map, and you just walk around, and you can go around and loot stuff in the maps, and you know, also you can engage in PvP, player versus player engagements with other players, and if you kill them, then you can take all the stuff that they got. So, say again?
Like a post-apocalyptic?
Yes, it's very like post-apocalyptic. It has a huge crazy story.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, so basically, people will like aimbot and wall hack in that game so they can walk into a lobby, know where all the enemy players are, and go around and kill them and take all their stuff. And that lets them progress faster.
It's a shame.
It really is a shame, because I love Escape from Tarkov's combat loop. It's probably one of the most realistic games I've ever played. And it's super fun and enjoyable when it goes your way. But if you get killed by some guy you have no chance against because he's running all the best gear, and he has aim hacks and wall hacks, so he knows where you are, he's going to hit you in the head every time. You're going to just die immediately, and you're just going to feel annoyed, and like you can't do anything because, you know, and death in Escape from Tarkov is so punishing. So when you die, you lose everything you have.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there losing it's not bad enough that they're gaining, but you're losing because of that. And that's why cheating is so destructive.
Other players at a disadvantage too.
Well, and it's basically just ruining the experience for other people who are playing legit.
That's my thing with online games like that. Is like, even if it's not from cheating, like if I like have all my stuff, like I'm doing good, I'm like, oh yeah, and someone just kills me, I lose it all. It just makes me so mad. Like, it just makes me upset.
I know a lot of people. So I just
don't play.
I used to play Sea of Thieves.
Oh, my one friend is really into that game right now.
So my problem is I just don't have enough people to play it with. I'm really good at it, and I won't lie. You know, I kind of really enjoy the PvP in that game, and there is nothing more satisfying to me than, you know, being a pirate, going out and sinking some other guy's boat and taking all his stuff. You know, I mean, it's a double. It's like. It's very controversial at times, and there's been a lot of people that say, because it's just open world, and, you know, it's kind of like Escape from Tarkov in that sense of you're in an open area, and PvP is up to you. Like, if you want to make friends, or if you want to just, you know, wipe out everyone you come across, that's up to you. But, you know, so I like the PvP. I like playing against other people and fighting them in that game, but I can understand why some people who just want to sit there and do their whatever,
because that's me.
So like, I can understand why people were calling for private servers so they didn't have to deal with, you know, other people coming in. But I think that's not the same thing as cheating, because it's, you know, Sea of Thieves and Escape from Tarkov are both games that are designed with loss being very punishing.
Yeah, it's a big part of the game.
It's a part of the core gameplay loop. Ark, yes.
It's like that. I mean,
Survival Evolved.
Me and my friends, started playing Ark, and we were like grinding around, and it was fun for a little bit. So our goal was to build a houseboat. So we because like how Ark works is all the servers are public. So you just like leave your stuff somewhere, someone can go like boonk it.
Yeah, they could just take it all.
So we built this raft and somehow built the house on it.
Yeah.
And we got it working somehow. We were like, oh, this is great. So we take it out into like the middle of the ocean somewhere where no one can find it. And we're like, all right, we're good. And then when we load the game back in, like
everything's gone.
Well, it wasn't even because someone took it. It was because the house like glitched off the raft.
That is interesting. It's just floating.
Like, we were
that's
like,
funny.
okay, and then I just never played it again.
See, that's the thing is there's, I think
it's not even fair. Like,
well, I mean that is a case of just the game being a little silly, I guess. But to me, I think I enjoy games that have a very punishing sort of like loop of gameplay where, you know, you win big and you lose big because, you know, but I can understand why some people don't want to do that. But yeah, you know, back to get back to cheating, I think especially those games where losing or death or whatever is very punishing is where cheating hurts the most people. And I think that's really annoying. And I mean, I'm really kind of scared for multiplayer games going forward because at some point, you know, because when people cheat, other people see that and go, oh, well, if I want to enjoy the game, I have to be on these guys' level, so I'm going to cheat too. And then you just got an epidemic of people cheating in games because otherwise they can't play because they're just going to lose.
Right, no, it's... Yeah, one of the things that just frustrates me, I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
don't do that.
It's really annoying to
also,
deal with.
We have by the end of this hour, we'll have exhausted every single song we can play.
Actually, well, so every song we can play without, you know,
playing something twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely try to get the rest of those in.
Yes. So yeah, we will be trying.
I am
to get
excited
more
for Pascal's songs too.
Yes, and he said that he didn't care.
I wonder if since we have his permission, would we be allowed to play more than 2 of his songs an hour?
We'll have to figure that out. Yeah, for sure. But I'm actually, when you told me that he wanted to be on the show, I think that's super cool.
I was surprised because I reached out to him on Discord. I was like, hey man, mind if I use some of your songs? He's like, oh no, super friendly guy. And we were talking about how he made it and stuff, and I was like, oh, like we got the show. He's like, oh, if you have any other questions about like, you know, sound director in a game, let me know because I'm the sound director. And I was like, would you be interested in coming on the show? He's like, yeah. Sure.
You know,
super cool.
You know, I'm actually thinking now that you've done that, I'm thinking about maybe trying to reach out to some of the other composers that we've had troubles getting into the show.
I was thinking about that too. Like my girlfriend was saying, you know, Concerned Ape.
Yeah.
Reach out to him.
He would probably respond as well. Like, if we just DM'd him, we'd be like, hey, we have a radio show.
Yeah,
and we want to...
I'm sure he would.
You know?
Someone as busy as him, I doubt we could get to come on.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Working full-time.
Hey, you never know.
But, I mean... send him an email.
Honestly, this would be...
hey, it'd be cool for you to come on the show.
There's so much potential.
That would actually be cool if we could get him on the show.
If we could get him on the show, I'd be so happy
I'm already
for that.
very excited for Potato Boss.
Well, so we've also been thinking about putting some songs from Celeste, one of my favorite platformers in recent memory.
Those songs actually are greenlit.
Are they?
Licensed.
Well, if we don't... if we don't manage to get them in, we could probably... contact Lena Rain.
But they are 100% BMI certified, so they should be good.
We'll have to figure out. That's the thing is since we're doing a show about video games, we want to have music that's thematically appropriate.
No, I agree. I am gonna go in later this week and talk to Connor in person because I have a couple of those command line tools I actually use to get and convert the music. He was interested in seeing how those work because they could be super useful for the club.
Yeah, it'll be super useful for other people and other radio shows so they can.
Yeah, and you can. I just hope it doesn't create more work for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, pretty much.
It's probably faster than how he's getting the songs now.
It might be.
What he probably does is
gets them from
goes
MP3.
on YouTube MP3 and downloads every single one. Where I literally type spot DL, type in the link. And then it downloads every single song in the folder.
That's honestly impressive.
And then I run this one little bash script, and it converts them all to that wave automatically.
Honestly, I don't even know how that all works.
Well, it's very, very effective.
Yeah,
and it's very nice.
But we're gonna do our best.
Get back on top.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to get more music in,
yeah,
so you don't have to listen to the same songs in the background.
I had a few songs in there, like, technically not like video game songs, but they're like in some of my favorite games. Like,
so yeah,
Here's to You and Dragula, but I mean that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
One of them's in Jet Set Radio, one of them's in Metal Gear, so that's fine.
So, is there anything else you wanna bring up? So for maybe 10 minutes before we do the news. Honestly, I feel like we're woefully unprepared for this. Honestly,
nah, we're doing good. I mean, the anti-cheat stuff was good.
Yeah.
Dude, Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. What? I don't even know much about Steam Deck.
I'll tell you about it.
Go ahead.
So,
I'd like to know.
I'm actually kind of interested in maybe picking one up in a few years.
It's like its own console, right?
So how it works is it's basically a Switch. It's got some pretty powerful specs, which I'm gonna bring up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is when I saw this thing.
It really does just look like a Switch.
It really convinced me to convert to the Steam ecosystem even more. Because
we were talking last week about how Steam is kind of just...
No, it's awesome.
Well, it's awesome, but it's also just a dominant,
and with
games
good
marketplace.
reason. So you sign into it, you got all your games on there from Steam, all the cloud save stuff, transfers over. So if you already have a big Steam library, like, play them all on the go. People were talking about how you could actually install Windows on this. So this could be an emulation beast. People are saying, like, if you guys RetroArch is on Steam now, you could play GameCube games on here. People are saying it might even be power enough to handle the Wii U or the Switch.
So how much is it?
I think it's
$399.
$400 for the cheapest one, which does
64,
not have NVMe.
64 gigs of memory. Does that say?
Yeah, but expandable. I think up to 1 terabyte with
1 terabyte
a micro SD card.
God, that's crazy that micro SD cards can go up to that much.
256 for the NVMe SSD. 256 gigabytes. It's $529.
I just don't think anyone's gonna really buy a $650 one there.
A $650 one with a 512.
Even 512 is. I mean, 512 gigs
and it has
is okay.
Something else. Anti-glare etch case. I don't know. I probably wouldn't. Again, this is available after Q2 2022. So when I say about eventually picking one of these up, I'm meaning in like 2024 or 2025. When there's maybe a new model or it's cheaper, and plus I'll have a bigger Steam
or you
library.
Can get a used one.
I'll have my new PC, which to pair with it, because I think it'd be best paired with a PC, but it just depends, because like I haven't been even doing much gaming on the go lately.
Honestly, I don't do much gaming on the go in general. Like when I was younger, I would play like mobile games all the time, but
now I can literally run Game Boy Advance emulator on my phone.
Yeah, and I think that's super cool. Or now that you have the Nintendo Switch, I mean,
well, I've had it, but
the amount of that's what I mean. Like it's out in general.
Here's the problem with the Switch.
What's your problem with it?
The Steam Deck. One. All the old Nintendo games, for example, like Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, all the GameCube games, playable on a non-Nintendo console,
not on the
Nintendo console.
That is a little,
and it's a little ridiculous.
That is a little,
and not even just those games. I mean, just all the like other games you can play, pretty much everything on Steam, and like it might not run it with high settings, but it'll run it, and you can dock it,
like the Switch.
Any USB-C dock will work.
Oh, really?
And you literally, if you plug two USB controllers into it, it's two player.
Yeah, and I think the Steam controllers are like modular, right? So you can change them around, or you can buy ones that are.
I think the Steam control. I don't know. I think it's all connected to the system.
Okay.
But I mean, still though, you can get a $20. I bought a $20 Xbox 360 USB controller that I've been using for PC lately. And it works fine, I mean.
But, didn't Nintendo say they're going to be bringing Nintendo 64 games to the Switch?
They're bringing 10 ROMs in. That's not even impressive to me.
Which ones?
Starting out with 10 games. I don't know.
Can you pull them up? Which ones are they bringing?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, this stuff has been available on emulators forever, so I'm just not even interested, and they're asking you to pay more for it.
Yeah, that's a little...
I think it's ridiculous considering their online barely works.
So it's not free with Nintendo Online.
It's not free.
Like the SNES and the NES.
To get the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis, you have to pay extra.
That is ridiculous.
Dude, I know.
How much? Do you know how much?
I do not know how much. So
I mean, any amount.
So Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
That's a good one.
Mario Kart 64. Okay, but
so this website's really not agreeing with you, is it?
You seeing that? But
it's very mad that you're using ad blocker. That's pretty funny. Yeah. So for what you've said so far, it sounds like
there we go.
It sounds like they're just bringing in like the big titles. So there you go.
Yeah. So Mario Kart 64, Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, Mario Tennis, Yoshi Story, Dr. Mario, and then a couple other ones I never even heard of. And one of them's in Japanese, so I can't read the title. But.
Oh, okay. But if my Japanese was better, I'd be able to help you out. But unfortunately, I need more work.
I mean,
you got some good ones.
This is 10 games here, and you're expecting me to pay more money for this, or it's something I could. It's just bizarre. I don't know what they're doing over there half the time.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they expand it, and it's not even out yet. It's a membership plan. That's so strange.
If Nintendo got it together with the business side of things, like, they would be dominating the market.
Well,
if they knew what they were doing.
I think their point is because they know people will pay for it, they can charge.
I mean, what another thing I heard is that it's like, why not release all the old GameCube games on the Switch for cheaper? And I was talking to someone, it's like, you know, Nintendo, it'd be like they're creating competition with themselves because they want people to buy the new titles.
Yes.
But
it's like the reason why when Call of Duty, what was it, Infinite Warfare came out, they bundled Modern Warfare Remastered with it.
Right.
And it wasn't separate because they didn't want people to buy just that.
Just that, be like, oh, I'll just buy Modern Warfare instead, which, you know, half of our generation will be doing because we grew up on, like, MW2 and those games.
Yeah, so but yeah, honestly, I'm a little disappointed with that. I mean
I got a
Ocarina
PC,
of Time and Mario 64 are amazing games, but
which
like,
I already own.
Yeah,
I own the 3D All-Stars, by the way.
I own both of them on my N64, so why would I pay for it?
I regret buying the 3D All-Stars, and I'll tell you why. Because I recently found a Super Mario 64 PC. It's something called Super Mario 64. It's not the HD version that came out a few years ago. It's something new, but it adds right-stick camera controls.
Huh.
It adds widescreen and makes the controls tighter and just a bunch of other adjustments. And it's like, wow, this is such a better definitive way to play the game.
It's what, like a ROM hack?
Sort of. It's like, so basically the way it works is you get a exe installer and you feed the ROM into it, and then it like creates the files for the game.
Huh.
And it's super cool. I'll have to show it to you sometime.
That's interesting. Leave it to the gaming community to basically find ways to make games that already exist better.
Yeah, and like Super Mario Galaxy even, like if you got a powerful PC, you can run that at 1080p 60 FPS.
Huh.
Should we transfer the news soon?
Yeah, actually, just to end it off, somebody did basically a port of GoldenEye 64.
I saw that.
On the PC with the mouse and keyboard controls, and apparently it's because who thought that aiming with those yellow directional buttons was a good idea? It just doesn't work.
Because it was.
Well, yeah, it was one of the early first-person shooters on controller.
There's this game. Now, I don't want to dig into it too deep because we're short on time, but I said I watch a lot of video essays about gaming history. So you're a GoldenEye fan.
Yes, I've played it.
So have you heard of the GoldenEye 007 Xbox 360 unreleased version?
No, I did not.
So basically, it's a complete rebuild from the ground up with new controls.
So it's not like reloaded. It's not like that.
It's complete remastered. And somehow, basically, there's this Xbox test store which you can get to for a special way. And this game has been lost for 10 years, but somehow 10 years ago when it was on the store, someone finessed onto the store and downloaded the full game. And it's been lost for 10 years. And about a year ago, they finally, I don't know, someone must have snagged it, but they dumped it online, and it's playable. You can play the full game.
Huh.
So, super cool little history about that game there.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. But actually, I am actually a little light. Honestly, there wasn't a whole ton of news this week that was really interesting.
We can always improv to some those.
So, well, we only got 10 minutes left, so this should be just about good. So, on to the new segment of What You Playing here. Hold on, I'm pulling up. So, as I mentioned last week, Far Cry 6 released. But, this is a funny article I found. It comes courtesy of Ari Nodis, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. Courtesy of Kotaku. And the headline says, Far Cry 6 players are dying because of an Assassin's Creed Easter egg. So, it says, a tall stone tower, a bale of hay below, the screech of an eagle. If you've been conditioned by years of playing Ubisoft games, seeing all of these at once means one thing: jump. So basically, apparently, there's a big tower in Far Cry 6, and it's got like an eagle, and so it's basically one of the synchronization points from Assassin's Creed. And you know how in Assassin's Creed, once you get one of those, you can jump off and do the dive into the bale of hay?
Right.
Right? So,
I think so.
So you're on top of like a big building, and you do the like synchronizing thing,
just
and then you jump,
and
and you hear like the eagle screech, and then you land in the pile of hay or whatever, and you're good. So apparently there's one of these in this game, and people have been climbing up the tower and going, oh, this is an Assassin's Creed reference. I'm going to jump into this bale of hay. And, well, it just doesn't work. They just fall to their deaths and die. But what really made me laugh about this article, it says, Far Cry 6, released last week for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, is Ubisoft's latest big-budget, three-dimensional Excel sheet. That is, honestly, the best way I've heard those games described.
Say it again.
It says it's Ubisoft's latest big-budget, three-dimensional Excel sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Because, really, all those games is basically filling out a laundry list of, like, synchronizing towers and clearing out outposts, and, like, that's it.
Tailing missions.
Yeah, stupid stuff like that.
Also, I hate that.
And then, like, later on, they go, Assassin's Creed, of course, is Ubisoft's other popular series of big-budget, three-dimensional Excel sheets.
You know,
because it's kind of the same way.
I feel like Assassin's Creed and like even the old Call of Duty stuff, you know, like
I've lost interest in the new
original
Assassin's
Black
Creeds.
Ops, and like I heard like Assassin's Creed 3, and like people talk about Black Flag and all those. Like
Black Flag is still good.
Used to be great, and then it's like
Assassin's
they're just
Creed.
pumping them out now. It's like
honestly, I think like annual releases of Call of Duty has killed the game. But anyway, that's a topic
for sure.
That's a topic
we can
for
get
another
into
time.
that a whole other time.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so one Reddit user shared a PSA urging players to steer clear of their Assassin's Creed instincts. It's a trap, they wrote, and then it's literally just like a clip of them being on the tower, jumping off and falling to their death because they think it's Assassin's Creed. Well, they don't actually think, but they go, oh, this is a reference to Assassin's Creed, so I'm going to do what you would do if you're playing Assassin's Creed and jump off this building, and then they just die.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really funny. So, the next thing...
I don't think there's anything else I can play.
That's okay. So, we talked about Metroid Dread, right? I got some news about that.
Yeah, that game looks awesome.
Metroid Dread is already being emulated on PC.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
So it's already being emulated on
Switch
PC.
Switch emulator's not really quite there yet.
Just days after launch, specifically Switch emulator Yuzu displays the game at native resolution and manages to run it smoothly, while Ryujinx users, which I guess is another Switch emulator, have been reporting some issues.
But Simu? That's a popular one.
I haven't heard about it. But yeah, so I think that's crazy how quick people are like...
Dude, well, I'll tell you what.
They're like, we need this brand new game that just came out to Switch. We need it on PC.
I follow someone on Instagram, which I don't want to say who it is, but like a gaming account or whatever, and they have their Switch modded, or like jailbroken, which that's not something I do until after the console's life cycle's over. But and they actually had Metroid Dread, like the full game, pirated completely a day early, and when 3D World plus Bowser's Fury came out, they had the whole game, like a whole 24 hours before it even got released.
That's crazy. Honestly, I'm surprised that Nintendo hasn't really, like, done anything about that. You would think they would.
I mean, if you got one of these nice, even like a 3060 Ti, and like a Ryzen 7 i7, can run like you can
But
run.
can you really blame people for, you know, wanting to run the newest games on better hardware?
I mean, that's what I might do for I might even skip the next Nintendo console, quite honestly.
So, anyway, that is interesting. But this is basically the last one I'll do here before I transition into upcoming releases. Apparently, according to an insider at Xbox, 2/3 of the games that are in development haven't been announced. And it says, YouTube content creator Randall Thor 19 sits down to play games and chat with a reporter for Windows Central. And Randall Thor 19 shares that based on his knowledge, which discludes anything Bethesda is working on, so it's not Bethesda, he thinks that only 1/3 of Xbox's projects have been announced.
I heard about this.
And he says that he'll be able to share more in the coming weeks. So that's interesting to see what he's talking about there.
If now that they have Bethesda in their cards, they really could pull a sneaky on PlayStation with those exclusives.
Especially with the Game Pass and games coming straight to Game Pass.
Well, I don't think they're gonna make things Xbox exclusive like that, because they know they're making money with PC users like me.
Well, I
applaud Microsoft
for doing that,
for taking the big initiative with crossplay and stuff too. They have a Nintendo. We're the first ones to play fair with it, and I think it's really, really cool.
So, anyway, we have about we'll say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me get
the music. We're listening to "Love Me" radio edit.
Yeah, we are not listening to video game music anymore. We'll have that solved by next week. But anyway, so for this week it's the 11th, right?
It is.
So today, Book of Travels on PC releases. I don't know what that game is, but that's a game that come out. Tomorrow we have Back for Blood, which is coming out on all platforms, which is like that game made by the people for Left 4 Dead, which had a lot of controversy for a reason I can't say on the radio for legal reasons.
Oh, really?
Well, not because I can't talk about it, but because it involves profanity. I can't say it. So, that had some controversy, but it's coming out tomorrow. Hopefully they ironed out whatever was causing the issue. Also tomorrow is Disco Elysium, the final cut, and Ori the Collection. So I'll talk about the Ori and
Ori and the Will-O-Wisp, yeah.
I think it might be the Blind Wisp. I don't remember. But the Collection, I guess it's both games coming out to Switch on tomorrow, which is cool. But again, the Ori games were supposed to be like Xbox exclusives, right? And now they're just on Switch. I don't know why they did that, but that's interesting. But whatever. If it lets people play games, that's cool. And then on the 13th, we have Midnight Protocol coming to PC, Starlight Alliance coming to PC and Switch. The 14th, there's a game called A Little Golf Journey. I don't know what that is.
I actually did just find Chrono Trigger music in here. So.
Huh, that's cool. We'll have to play some of that.
I just played.
Oh, you're playing it. Sick. Yeah, and then, so yeah, Bonito Days is coming to Switch, Despot's Game on the 14th, Doctor Who, The Edge of Reality.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's coming out on all platforms on the 14th. Also on the 14th is Dungeon Encounters, God Strike, Jackbox Party Pack 8.
Dude, Jackbox is fun.
I love Jackbox. It's so enjoyable. And then Ruin Raiders, Sphere Flying Cities, Ancient Stories, Gods of Egypt is coming out on the 15th. This is a big one here on the 15th also, the Crisis Remastered trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Can it run Crisis? Isn't that the big question?
Actually, it's funny, on the PC, there's a graphics setting called Can It Run Crisis?
I know.
And it's basically like the
maxed out.
Honestly, though, like, you look at the old Crisis, that game looks so incredible for how old it is. There's no reason.
Cool. I was looking at that into that the other day, actually. It's pretty cool.
But anyway, to finish off here, Demon Slayer, the Hikonami Chronicles is coming out the 15th as well as The Good Life, Grey Lancer, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town.
Oh yeah, the Harvest Moon.
Is it a Harvest Moon?
Something Friends of Mineral Town, I'm pretty sure it's Harvest Moon.
I don't know anything about it.
I was just looking it up because it's related to Stardew so closely.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, that is all the game releases until October 18th, but we can cover that next week.
We can.
Yes.
Do you have anything else for today?
Honestly, I think we're good to call it here. This has been a pretty productive show.
I think so. We got music playing. We got a guest coming in next week.
Yes.
So this is actually pretty exciting.
Speaking of that, do be sure to tune in to our social media on Instagram. At Whatcha Playing WXSU.
Yeah, and I should have the YouTube up later.
And
start recording.
I will. So in the bio of our Instagram,
we have the playlist.
Account, we have the YouTube playlist where this show.
And I'll spell it right.
Hopefully you will spell it right this time. Well, this show and all future shows will be recorded and posted on the YouTube for your viewing pleasure,
which I do love.
Or displeasure if you hate us. But yeah. So, and then I will also probably be making a post on that Instagram social media regarding the announcement of our upcoming guest. And that'll be really cool.
I'll talk to him confirm because he said
yes, do talk to him.
With the time zones, it's kind of weird. But he said as long as we let him know.
It'll be
it'll be nighttime.
It'll be 10. He's in Europe, right? Do you know whereabouts?
I don't know where. I also don't.
So
it'll be
it'll be at least 10 o'clock, at the very least.
Yeah, but
he's at when we're doing our
cool.
show.
He said give him at least a day of notice before, so I'm definitely gonna get in touch with him because that'd be super cool.
But yeah, do keep in mind do watch out for that announcement on our Instagram. But anyway, I think we're gonna end it here for week 3 of Whatcha Playing. So this has been WXSU LP Salisbury. I've been David, and he's been Jeremy. And we'll see you next week, Monday, 5 o'clock, for the next episode. Take care, everyone. We'll turn back up the music right now. What's
Naturally by Selena Gomez.
Naturally by Selena Gomez, and then followed by Good Life by what's the name there?
One Republic.
By One Republic. So there you go. So
more video game music next week.
Yeah, more video game music next week. But for now, enjoy the music that is coming up after us. Have a good week.